for not being there and return back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone. And you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, and individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they will become it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant, bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombia.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Tuesday. Pleasure to have you here. We got a bit of a show to get into, okay? So nice to have you back on this fine White History Month, a fine White History Month Tuesday. I'm the American Anchor Baby, and we got a bit of a show for you. Okay, we're gonna get into some of the stuff you like. Okay, the Epstein. They're going to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. Is the news? They're trying to turn it around, and I think they just might, politically speaking. Right? A lot of people are emotional, maybe. I think a little too quick and emotional. Although it's fine to have your questions and whatever. My thoughts on it. We'll get into it. But Ghislaine, they're saying the DOJ is going to talk to her, and they're going to find out if she has any information on these evildoers. So that was interesting. Ghislaine, also, a side note, kind of trying to going to get a sweetheart deal, I'm hearing, and I guess that's fine for whatever must happen. But I do wonder about the world. You know how we see things. Human nature is so wicked, and we see evil in a wrong way. We lessen the evil of some. We're not really seeing it right, and I think women can get away with a lot, right? And is Ghislaine just doing it for the gals? Another one for the gals, getting away. They say getting away with murder, but this is not murder. Okay, let's be serious here. We'll get into some things here. Look, number of things that have gotten you guys emotional, maybe. The snake pit hates cops, I should expect it from them, though. Emotional, they may get a little, they're very concerned, maybe questioning of many things, even police. But anyways, look, and they're calling them crop pickers. Crop pickers is crazy. You hear this one? They're just like outright saying, hey, Republicans, these are crop pickers. And that's not a dirty word. That's not a slur. It's time to just say it. There are crop pickers, and we need them. Well, look, what else here? Look, we got plenty to get into. 888-775-3773. Pleasure to see you guys in the chat. Welcome. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. How you doing, Jules? Nick is from every nation. Globalist Anchor Baby. Sometimes I see this in myself, and I think I should recuse myself from voting and just kind of sit back and watch a bit. But I voted right, so at least so far. So, but anyways, look, we're just playing around. It's nice to see you, my Rumble viewers. Jules, Dolphin, slave to him. That sounds Christian, maybe. Slave to him. Nice to see you, and everybody else over there on Rumble. My viewers here on YouTube, welcome, everybody. Thanks for the support. We'll get to the super chats. And everybody, nice to see you in the chat. Okay, clamor for the crowns. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. You're going to get it anyways as you clamor for the crowns. All right, so what else here? Look, click the like button. Don't be rude. Come on. You're coming in here. You're saying hi. You're getting your crowns. You're enjoying the show. And you got something to say maybe. Leave a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Like the stream. You're here. Don't be rude. And what else? Okay, 888-775-3773. That's the number. You know what I should be doing here? Using the tech. What's wrong with me? Do I ever use this? 888-775-3773. But anyways, okay, so I do want to get into the news a bit. I do want to get into some of the news because it's somewhat interesting. I mean, we got basically the DOJ is set to interview Maxwell. Don't know where, when, but the news is they have reached out, okay? They've reached out. Todd Blanche, Deputy Attorney General with the DOJ, saying, yeah, we're out here. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Okay? He wrote, misspelling Miss Maxwell's first name and adding that he was acting on Mr. Trump's instruction to release all credible evidence, only the credible stuff. And that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, it's definitely, you could say, a response to the public backlash. I know that's what the media keeps saying. I think it's fair to say. A response to the backlash even from the base, really, from the Republican base. I gather this has been some ammo for CNNs and then kind of further down, whoever you are. I don't know if they cared about Epstein much either before. It was not a name. Then 2019, it was a name in the right wing, right, with Trump voters, that kind of stuff. So it came down, they're like, okay, there's no list, there's no client list, and it was a suicide, as they say so. And so the DOJ is coming out saying they want to interview Ghislaine, okay? You're going to give us any names about people who committed crimes against victims, okay? So I don't know how people are taking it yet. I just kind of saw it. It's kind of fresh, but I don't know how much it'll really, how much people would even be satisfied, honestly, if you ask me. I do find some interesting things, like this talk of Trump's instruction to release credible evidence. And I really do see Trump as being how he is. This credibility comment, I mean, it ties with what he said about that there are people that could be there that would be, I forget how he put it, but not everyone there is exactly, what's it called, guilty. I forget exactly how he put it, but you might remember him saying something to the effect that, not everybody is essentially guilty in the way you might think. Should people get mixed up right in the wrong way? And, you can see this as this trying to turn it around in a sense. I mean, politically, I heard that it's been, well, besides just seeing it on the internet and voters and callers, etc., polls. I don't know if you guys follow polls. I don't. I just heard polls don't look good on this thing. I gather he listens, though. He listens, and I get people. This has people not trusting him and all that. But I do wonder who will even be satisfied truly. I noticed the ones who really care about this, out of their maybe misunderstanding, I think they'll never be satisfied. Another thing is that it speaks to the human nature for me, how we view things. Because for some, it's like this political thing. The media and others turn it into this like sexual what is it? Like going after men for sexual things, for sex stuff. I like how that was put. And so you get this like schism, and people don't know what they're out there supporting, getting mad at. I'm really speaking to the emotional people that are just so quick to see news and get mad, right? Just get too emotional. Turn on Trump, essentially. Put it like that. I mean, you can have your questions. But where was I here? Look, that's just kind of what I was. I just want to mention this news here. You guys, on the Epstein thing, I find it essentially kind of how Hake put it earlier. With that, to just summarize. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, going after these, to see what Ghislaine has to say here. I mean, what would even happen? I mean, I guess, isn't that what people were saying, right? They were saying, we just want to see these people get prosecuted, right? These people to go after them, right? So, I mean, we got to see what's going to happen with this, I guess. Will it make people happy? I don't know. How you guys feeling about this? They're going after, they're going to talk to Ghislaine. I gather it's an instant, I don't know, we'll see. There's no lists, but also there are people on the list that didn't do nothing, got it. I've seen commentary like that. I mean, I think you can have your suspicion on that. I'm not exactly sure what comment you're thinking of. I'm responding to my chat, but it is worth clearing that up for some people. It's like a client list. I've said this already, but that's a shallow way of looking at it. There is no list of Rolodex of people and their crimes and what they did. a line item of the children they purchased. You know, it's just not like that. So you can with that you can understand. You can have your suspicion, but you can also understand the comment. I mean, we don't want people mixed up or whatever. What Trump is talking about is credibility, essentially. You know, what people will misunderstand about it. I think it may, if you look at it a certain way, this might even be it might even be kind of a smart move. I don't know how it'll turn out. I don't expect anything. But put it like this. It's like, yeah, you unredact these names. You got people on these flight logs. You can't really say who, but the public will crucify who they will. And Trump has basically decided, I think that's even conjecture from me, but we're not going down that road. But put it like this. If you ask Ghislaine, it's like, well, now we're getting to the criminal acts. If that's what you wanted, right? I'm essentially happy with what's going on. My focus has been immigration, and this may have been. Put it like this: it could be a little one-dimensional and maybe shallow on my part. I think it's important. What I'm trying to say here is my support for the administration. You know, a lot of the immigration stuff trumps that. I didn't mean to put it like that, but it seems way more important, existential, okay? And maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I'm coming at it from a wrong view a bit, emotional maybe. I mean, I saw Canada change so deeply. And I hear stuff about London, for example, and I'm like, wow, that's literally like Mississauga. That's like Toronto, guys. I don't know if there may be some exaggerations here and there, but I don't know if you know the reality. I see it here. So I don't know if really any of this Epstein stuff would change any of that. I see this as way more important. And you know, here's another thing. I get this impression, because look, for those that it's not like a sex thing, it's like a political, what's the word? It's like political intrigue, like who has captured our politicians? Is it Mossad, Israel, right? I gather, tell me if I'm wrong about this. I get the impression the Jews ain't as strong as they once were, or if they were, whatever. But it seems you can talk about them, right? It seems like this Epstein stuff is done. It's gone. Tell me if I'm wrong here. It's gone. It's done, right? The people are done, and yeah, maybe there's people we don't know about. Living is still right, free with their freedom. How dare they? They might need to not have that. But look, put it like this. That may be happening. But I get this impression that's all done, right? You could politically, the American public seems to be quite vocal on Gaza. It's a genocide and all this. I get this impression that, you know, the truth might not be what you think it is. Okay. So, anyways, immigration. What I thought I had some other thought on that. If you can make people, no, that's not even crystallized. But look, what else about this? Look, that's Trump, that's Epstein. They're going to talk to Ghislaine. What do you guys think? They're gonna get anything here? And what will it change? Yeah, what do you think it'll change? It might change something. I know, it's Cesal. No, Nicolas. I know she'd say Nicolas, so I guess I should. I might have to enact like English on you, Cesal. You're very fresh with the Spanish on White History Month. You know what? I speak Spanish and all that, but I noticed I might even rub the Mexican ladies at the McDonald's the wrong way. I know they know I speak Spanish, and I know that I'll order it in English, and I know that they're testing it. I've heard them talking to each other, and then talk to me in Spanish. I'll respond in English, and they'll like look and they'll laugh, and they'll like make it a point to speak in Spanish, and then I respond in Spanish once. They're like, I swear this is what I saw. They're like, I knew it. This guy, whatever. But it's White History Month, Sal. You know, it's just very fresh with the with the Espanol. You know what I mean? When you're calling it, but she's like, don't talk about Epstein. We've been talking about this forever. Yeah, don't talk about it. You guys are like, why aren't you talking about Epstein? I talk about it. And well, you can't please everybody. Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to do. And you know, Trump's not going to do that. He's not going to please everybody here. So let's see what else here. What a mess. I'm just trying to read your chat here. Like, I want to get into another thing here that got you guys activated. Okay, it's a little bit of a rerun. Blacks acting up with the cops. But, you know, it's a bit at this point where it's like we've had so many reruns. Shouldn't we know the lessons by now? But yet, I see the public fall into emotion, unable to break out of the cycle. And they think the folly of the public, they think they lack knowledge. They think they lack a number of things, but they're really just emotional. Look, I'm talking about this McNeil guy getting punched by these cops. Look, we'll do this quick. We'll do this quick because I know the snake pit was... Maybe I'm evil for trying to get the snake pit activated, having an antagonist relationship here, but it might be an apt title. What a mess. So let's see here. 888-775-3773. Appreciate the super chats. Coffee's nice. Thank you so much. We'll get to all of you. Jacksonville police officer. We'll do this. Let's watch this fast. Well, we don't have to be that fast. Boom. Because we saw this on the JLP show, right? Jesse Lee Peterson. And now, you know, let's get into it already. I mean, you remember he's here in his car talking to the cops saying, hey, what's going on here?
When he pulled me over,
we don't really know what happened, right?
My window don't work, right? Okay. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up? Huh? Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Ow.
Show me your hands.
Here.
I mean, that's kind of the right way to react to that, maybe. To the punch, that first punch. I mean, you don't want to get squirrely here, right? 1 to 10, how squirrely so far? I mean, whatever.
Here. What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. Don't. Get on the ground.
Stop fighting.
Put your hands on your back.
Oh, they're using police language. This is police language. You have to be a police officer to use that language. And to have tattoos, and maybe, you know, criminal and military.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
Oh,
what's going on, man?
Ain't no talking. I didn't know there was more to this, but hey, I don't think we saw all this. Don't think we need to. They punched him. Y'all weren't happy. Am I wrong about this? He's not so tough now. Okay, Maynard didn't care. We know Maynard doesn't care. But actually, we don't know that. I don't know if I know that. But popped in the mouth, comply foo. Okay, never mind. Show him getting punched again. Okay, now you guys are getting barbaric about it. What's the word? You know, there's a frenzied. Now you're getting frenzied, right? It's like, yeah, get him. You can't get frenzied when watching this stuff. I mean, this is almost like a nuke to people unable to control themselves. I should be careful. Don't get frenzied. Frenzied in the chat. Frenzy. Okay, maybe, look, I know that people weren't too happy. Maybe it was with the commentary. I was saying on the JLP show, like, it's fine. I don't know what happened before. I think it's fine. Look, I think it's maybe two ways of thinking. My thinking, manly thinking. That's how men probably think. The cop had to break the window. It was brought to that point, right? He had to break the window. Beyond that, it's like now it's out of control. Now you got to do things to bring it under control. Some of those things might not be nice. I guess the other thinking, the mama thinking, it's like, maybe this point here, maybe they should have this. But look, it's like, okay, the protocol was followed with the window, but the protocol, we got it on video, right? The protocol wasn't followed here or there. And it's essentially kind of what's happening here. They're saying that the officers have been found not to be. See, there's two things going on. That the video, they're saying that the state attorney's office has determined none of the involved officers violated criminal law, but highlighted that the deputies' actions are now being examined in an administrative review. So it's like the internal administrative branch of the police is reviewing him, okay? Seeing if he violated JSO policy. That could result in further action. Right now, he's already been stripped of his law enforcement authority. Officer Bowers has been stripped of his law enforcement authority pending the outcome of this review. So it could be political, one of those things, right? I don't know if people are really paying too much attention to this. They'll go after him, right? I think it's just Epstein right now. I don't know if this will hit any. I don't know. I mean, I saw it on ABC, on X a bit. So will Officer Bowers be publicly lynched by public opinion? I don't know. But again, that was my thing. I told you my thinking on it. They had to break the window. But there was an interesting clip here coming from a Sheriff Waters of Jacksonville. Here's a man, maybe for you. And order is very white history. And blacks, I hear, loved order. And I bet you they still do. Misleading. Everybody loves the truth and order, no? They just don't really know it. If only they okay, now let's just stop with that. Look, the point is this Sheriff Waters has some commentary on this. Anthony McNeil, let's watch.
Social media is not reality.
Oh.
One video clip devoid of context can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bowers' response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil
far too many seconds
infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly. And because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating.
I mean, you saw the punch. Tell us what you think. No, it's all this political stuff. And hey, if that's what maybe the officer will be fine. I don't know. That's what I think. I think it's fine. They had to break the window. He was non-compliant, criminally non-compliant. But I guess he was just sitting there with that first punch. You could have tried to go for the seatbelt, I guess. I don't care. I wouldn't. I would be like, you kind of bring the punch on, having to break that window. But where was I with this? Social media is not reality. So little man words for you there. I will say he's taking no sides on the officer. That's how it goes, I guess. A lot I don't know there, right? Process. You got to wonder how much of that process, though, has been mummified. Come on. Force is ugly, right? How many people in that system are like force is ugly, and it should be not be ugly. Force is far too ugly. Anyways, calls coming in 888-775-3773. I want to get to my super chatters and all my supporters here. Are you disgusting? Oh, that may have been from earlier. Sorry, I was reading something the staff wrote here in the chat. Let me get to Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
What's up, brother Nick? What's up with you?
All is well, Rick. And yourself? Happy White History Month.
Hey, happy White History Month to all my white brothers and sisters out there. We love what you guys are doing. And keep up the faith, man.
Yeah, keep up the faith, white people. Hey, it's for White History Month. I wish it to all people. I think it's a little different. I think it's different, quite actually different in the other history months. People ask us. If you'll allow me to say, thanks for the call, Rick, but if you'll allow me, they say about the history months, why do we need a White History Month? It's divisive. I'd say White History Month is unique in that it's not divisive. It's for all people, and it would benefit all people too.
And I say this too, Nick, on that same note, because all the time you go anywhere, even on military bases, which where I work at, you have Black History, Hispanic Month, Asian Month. You have every other culture all said white. So why not have White History Month? Every other race is glorified.
You know what, Rick? You made me think something further here. All the other history months are built on this notion that, well, they've been passed over in some sense. Don't you get that sense that we need to have Black History Month, all these other history months, because we need to educate people because they're racist and all these things right there. They need to be educated on this diversity. Isn't that saying that all these history months are built on like being angry,
Division?
having a gripe, and then White History Month, therefore White History Month is built on well, what do you think about that? I mean, I think I'm right about that.
You know, it's like everybody's after the white man. Everybody's after the white man. Everybody got history. I don't care if it's black, white. Like the Bible says, everybody is filthy. Everybody. Nobody has clean hands. And you hear mostly blacks saying, "Oh, we were enslaved. They jumped out of trees and kidnapped us." But yet, Africa played a huge role in the slave trade. They marched them through jungles, 2 days into the jungle, and some of them even died going to the slave ship.
Brutal.
You know, and they died going to the slave ship. And you don't hear that. You don't hear them hardly talk about that.
Brutal.
You don't hardly hear them talk about the role Africa played. You don't hear them talk about how the Arabs played a role in slavery.
That's right.
You don't hear that. You don't hear how Britain tried to stop the African nations from slave trading. They don't tell you that.
That's right. I gather like tell me if I'm wrong here, but even in the slavery days, there were rules, no, in America? Laws, so to speak. Were there even laws? This sounds crazy.
In America?
Yeah, like were there laws, call it protecting slaves? That might be a question for another time. But
time, and it's like, even for you'll hear blacks say, "We built this nation." Well, guess what? They used slaves. They had to have direction. You can't build nothing without direction. You got to have somebody to call the shot. You need something to go by. You need like blueprint to go by. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well,
that all in a nutshell, everybody contribute to this country. Everybody contribute to this country. And but you always hear, like, it's like whites are even scared to even voice their opinion. You have a few strong white people out there, but a lot of white people are scared of being called racist, trying to cater. You know what I'm saying?
Totally,
Nick.
Yeah, total spirit of fear. So the Bible says we're all filthy?
Oh, Our righteousness are filthy rags. You find that in Isaiah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know?
Filthy but morally or spiritually we have all become like one who is
Yeah,
unclean.
we are messed up. We all are evil. If you don't believe me, like Jesse says, make somebody mad and see.
That's so true. Or yeah, go against someone's expectations. Go So there's actually we could probably expand on that. But that's a great place to start. Yeah, you really see how evil you are and everybody is.
Yeah.
Should you just
if
imagine having
you got
expectations
anger
of
in you,
someone and you say you love each other?
It is so funny though, Nick. It's like we're evil and everybody trying to act innocent, like black trying to say we wasn't doing nothing, we ain't do nothing. Blacks were evil too back in even in the biblical days. Everybody was evil.
Right.
Everybody. There's no innocent person. There's nobody that has clean hands. We all are evil. We need Christ Jesus to straighten us up, to mold us, and we can act like how God wants us to be. Love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself. The world will be smooth. The reason why marriages are hard because it ain't because marriage is hard. It's hard because of people's selfishness, people's traumas, and everything else, if you will.
Fascinating, Rick. You know, what was I going to say? About filthy, about
I'm
being
sorry,
evil.
I help you forget what you was going to say there, Nick. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's just me. Rick, what were you going to say? You were going to say about about this man getting punched, I think.
Yes, what I was about to say, just give me a second. What I was about to say, how that kid didn't get out the car. All he had to do was get out the car. I mean, either answer their questions. The first thing I'm gonna tell you was disrespect. If the police come by your house, let's say you get pulled over, Nick. You get pulled over, okay? And time the police get to your car, you say, "Why you pulled me over?" That's a form of disrespect. Wouldn't you agree?
To the cops. You're saying disrespecting to the cops?
Let's say if I pull you over, okay?
Yeah.
And then time I get to your window, you ask me, why you pull me over?
Right.
That's disrespectful.
If you ask why you got pulled over?
You get what I'm saying?
If you give them attitude.
Oh, yeah, you know how you get, and they ask you what's the attitude. Let's say if you riding down the highway, police pull you over.
Yep.
If you would get a police time, they will tell you why they pulled you over.
Yeah,
they'll tell you anything you need to know.
Yeah,
but you can thank the liberal media, black politicians, white liberals, black liberals for aggravating black people to mouth off at the police.
It comes down to what you really want to do. You notice the people who say what you're describing, asking. It's not really a matter of asking. What's wrong here is what they're really intending to do. You're not wrong in asking a cop why they pulled you over, but should you intend to not comply and even just intend to be difficult, you're going to ask that in a wrong way at the wrong time. You're going to do that all in the wrong way. It's a matter of intention. That man did not want to. He just did not want to comply. He did not want for whatever reason.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, but that's it. That's it.
Even if the police pull you over, they're going to tell you why. You just got to give them time. So if they get to the window, they say, "Hey, the reason why I pulled you over, you didn't yield to my car parked on the side." I've been pulled over by the police a lot of times, and when I get pulled over, I sit there, let them come to the car, and let them do all the talking.
It's a good place to start.
Most times, if you be kind and polite, you and the police officer, y'all be having a conversation on the side of the road.
And getting into an ever-escalating match, like what are you trying to argue and discuss with here? Like,
that's the problem.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. It's intention. They were never intended to. If you intended from the get-go to just, hey, this is to respect the position you're in and the position the person you're speaking to is in. If you fully intended to respect that from the get-go, the rest forms itself.
Right.
But you gotta have a chip on your shoulder. You gotta have this anger. You gotta have this thought and narrative in your head about stuff to act that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right. It just the fact is it's all due to what society's doing now is rebellion.
Rebellion, man.
You know what I'm saying, Nick?
Yeah, Rick.
And that's what everybody's doing now, just being rebels.
Well, Rick, appreciate your call, man. You know, we'll have to get
No
back
problem.
on that.
The only thing I say is do what the police tell you, and you know, you driving. The guy was driving in raining with no lights on. You talk about that's an easy way to have an accident. You already can't see, and he didn't have his lights on.
Yeah, Batmaning.
You know,
not advisable.
What's that now?
Batmaning. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Right, and they was like I said, when you get pulled over, they're gonna tell you why. If you sit down, take a chill pill, and stop talking about your rights and stop listening to these medias and so CNN and black politicians, white liberals, black liberals, and telling you that you got your rights. It shouldn't even get to that level in the first place. What I'm saying.
Yeah, Rick.
Totally. I believe because I used to do corrections myself. And when we had to do forced sale movements, we'd give them a chance, Nick.
Yeah.
Give them a chance. But once we suit up, it's on.
Right. There's no okay,
there's no
we're gonna
now.
get chaotic here, but we gotta be chill over here. It's like, no, now it's chaotic. Things gotta get down. Things gotta be ugly. They have to be ugly.
Yes. Like the sheriff says, force is ugly.
That's right, Rick.
See, they always catch when the correction officer had to use force. They catch all that.
That's
they
right,
catch
Rick.
all that.
100%, Rick.
But
well, call me again, Rick. I appreciate your commentary on this.
Okay, Nick. Be good.
All right, bye now. 888-775-3773. He was definitely making me think about being filthy. It said that in the Bible. I didn't know that. But it's true. I mean, when he put it like that, like, just make someone mad, right? Or how you get mad. And, like, think about how evil you got to be. Think about that. Like, you must think you're innocent. You know, you pray or you plead others. You think about it like this. The way most people pray is the way that most people get angry at others and plead with the world and cry to get their way. It's really no different than when they're praying. If you notice, it's kind of the same spirit, the same thing. And it's like you got to think you're innocent or something to even be praying like that. You know, I've been seeing this stuff about playing lawyer with God, and it's kind of interesting commentary. I've seen it I've seen it somewhere out there. Something about playing lawyer with God, and I was thinking about that phrase. You know, like. I wrote it down somewhere too, and I just put it away. I'm like, whatever. Nothing more to say beyond that. Let's not try and be totally deep here, but the statement is simply, I mean, playing lawyer with God. Aren't you playing lawyer anytime you pray out loud? You're like, please make life happen this way, my way. Don't allow the things that I don't want to happen. Don't allow me to, consequences of what should happen. You know, you're trying to get out of, you're trying to cheat, you're trying to play lawyer with God. Please give me this or that, right? I want my life to be this way or that way. You're playing lawyer with God. You're like, oh, let me, right? Have it my way. Thanks, Rick. What else? You know, what else did he bring up? I was searching up as he was talking. Legal protections for slaves. Don't read how I wrote that. I wrote like an anchor baby to the chat GPTs. Careful with the AI. We're always leaving space with the AI. Yes, in the United States before the Civil War, there were laws protecting slaves, but not as people with rights, rather as property. Yeah, I was thinking like this. And hey, property is protected. So don't you can say what you want. But you know, when Rick was talking about the barbaric slave trade over there in Africa, we had property rights. We're civilized to some degree. I might be a little ignorant here. Apologies. I'm using ChatGPT. I'm ignorant. These laws treated enslaved individuals similarly to livestock or land in legal terms. Hey, I've read letters from some of these slave owners, and they loved some of these, at least some, loved this property. Okay, they loved it, loved them, and I don't see them as property. You're calling them property, ChatGPT. Key legal protections for slave owners: property rights. Slaves were considered chattel property. See, I don't know. That might be like, see, liberal words, chattel property. Like they call it chattel slavery, as if it was worse than other slaveries. They'll say it was a particular slavery in America, chattel slavery. But chattel are treated, chattel are important. Even that framing kind of actually implies that it was the best of slaveries. So, shout out White History Month. That meant slave owners had legal protections against theft or damage to their property. Hey, that's called protection. If someone stole, injured, or killed a slave, the owner could sue for damages, just as one might if someone damaged a horse or a house. Can you even do that with, like, people? That's actually way more protection than just your average person, right? Because, wait, hold on. Someone stole, injured, or killed. Okay, whatever. Let's move on from that. Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 made it a federal crime to assist runaways. Required their return, even from free states. Hey, White History Month. It's not what you think it was. These laws protected the slaveholders' ownership by requiring... Okay, so that's just something interesting I typed in as I was talking with Rick there. Shall we move on a little bit? Make America care again. What are you guys saying? Why are you guys repeating this? Who made this one up? MACA, M-A-C-A. Make America care again. You guys cracking me up, okay? Mama, being mama. So what else here? Where was I with this? Yeah, we were looking at these. What? Cotton pickers? Is that a terrible thing to say? Cotton pickers. I mean, I hear from Jesse. Jesse Lee Peterson, if you haven't picked cotton, you haven't lived. He talks about bringing lazy people. I think maybe it was blacks, but just like Bond, how he opened it from the black family, rebuilding the black man by rebuilding the black family. Rebuilding the black family by rebuilding the black man. Just like he opened it up there, hey, his plantation may have opened too. I think it may always have been. Bringing blacks back to the plantation. Teach them how to work is what he says, legally, right? We got plenty of lazy people for that plantation. No, cotton picker, I don't see it as it's merely a factual statement, no? Are you out of your cotton picking mind? Should we censor that? No, that sounds silly to me. Maybe it was rude at one point. Cotton picking mind? It's merely a factual statement. It's like Anchor Baby. You're picking cotton. I guess some might denote. Some people assign emotion. They assign more to words. They might see someone's furrowed expression when they say, you're a cotton picker. You're like, I'm not a cotton picker. I'm just picking cotton. How dare you call me these things? And what are you even thinking? But aren't you just allowing someone else to frame your world? You are your world, right? Aren't you just allowing the world to frame your world? Right? It's like a cotton picker. It's like, I'm just picking cotton. Call me what you want. If that's a cotton picker, I'm cotton picking. If I was born, if my mama was pregnant, hopped over the border, had me when she came over, the details of that story is a little hazy, but then I'm an Anchor Baby, right? It's a factual statement. Cotton pickers, they're calling them crop pickers, and I will get to my calls. Thanks for calling me here. We'll get to all of you, 888-775-3773. They're calling them crop pickers. I found this just too funny. This ad, look, let's just watch this together. Cory Booker posted this. The hands that feed us, we see you. We will fight to protect you. He shares this little clip here. Little Instagram. Look, this clip is... I love it. It's so the emotion. It's just put together. It's so funny, and then just the text. You got to read some of this text here. You got to read some of this text here. Look, crop pickers. Alonso, crop picker. Sorry, you can't even see this. It's hard to see, so I'll read this out actually. But they're getting there. It's saying their names, right? It's saying thanks to the invisible hands that feed us, and it says all their names. And underneath their names, it's in quotations, crop picker. You know, maybe they're saying like, oh, that's what others call them, but that's not how I'm taking it. That's Juan, a crop picker. Alonzo, the crop picker. And Cory Booker loves the crop pickers. And he's just saying how it is. Juan, Alonso, Liborio, Oscar, Roman, Reyes, Abraham. Look at Abraham. Check out Abraham for a second here. Abraham really leaned into his name. You know, how come Jesus? I don't see Jesus is out there. This is not Abraham. This is Abraham. Wait, actually, that might not be that funny because how do you originally say that name? How do the Hebrews say it? Abraham? That might be funnier if we say it like how they say it. But you guys get it. Yeah, this is not Abraham. Yeah, this fool is Abraham, or however the Hebrews say it. Because I'm talking about his facial hair. It's quite Abrahamish. Where are you going to get your asparagus? Okay? Cory Booker saying, these people feed us. They're our crop pickers, so we need to bring in an illegal labor. Wait, hold on. Breaking that down. Breaking it down, actually. Cory Booker, if he was here for us, would he break it down like this? It's essentially what's happening, right? We need this illegal force to underpay. We need this, right? They're saying we need this illegal immigrant force, labor force. The Americans won't do the job. They're feeding us, so we need them in the conditions they're in, right? Because that's what the Democrats say, no? Or no? Or is it just Republicans? I see this from the politicians, folks. They say these people are when they want to tell you, hey, vote for me to deal with immigration, they'll say these people are in terrible conditions, underpaid. I mean, don't the Democrats say we need a living wage? People deserve to be paid a living wage. Not even Democrat. I just think of it more progressive and modern. Just have this like utopian mindset. They'll say a living wage, but not these guys, right? Okay, so I guess what I'm supposed to say. Is how can we claim to champion a living wage for everyone while openly relying on a labor class we know is paid below it because they're undocumented and exploitable? And worse, we justify it by saying we need them to survive. Isn't that just polite slavery with a new name? I guess that's what I'm supposed to say, maybe, but I'm down for creative labor solutions. I'm down. I'm not against it. Call it a creative labor solution. You know, we got plenty of people on the streets. You've heard this floated around, maybe. I concur. I lean into it a bit. They call them homeless. I think they can be employed. It just takes a little bit of will. They don't have to be homeless. Okay, wait, look. I'm down for a creative labor force solution here. Because we got to eat, right? I'm also down for look, I'm down to hear people out. It's definitely an interesting thread to pull on here. This notion, what is going on with the money? What is going on with the wages, right? It's been suppressed because of, they'll say, illegal labor. Underpaid labor. I hear it's the factor here in lowering wages, and That's why you can't have your white picket fence and your married woman. 1950s America. Look, I just don't know. I've just heard that stuff. Let's see here. Look, let's move it on here. I want to get to my calls. We're filling up here. 888-775-3773. Amazing. And we'll get to super calls and super chats and all that. I want to get to first time caller Eric, Indiana. Thanks for your call. You're on the air.
Hey, how are you doing?
What's up, Eric? Appreciate your call.
So I actually do have a question.
Nice. Go ahead.
So I was reading my Bible the other day, and I saw a thing, and it says that Jesus hates niggers. Is this true?
Hey, man, chill out. Oh, okay. I thought he was just doing a thing, huh? He's playing like clips or something there? I'll let him go. Jesus doesn't hate anyone, you dummy. He had no anger. We got William out of California. Let me unmute you here, sir. William, you're on the air.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
Can you hear me okay?
Coming in loud and clear.
Oh, excellent. I apologize for the background noise. I didn't know when you're going to pick me up. I'm on
I don't hear it
right now. Oh, excellent.
Go ahead.
So, hey, I wanted to touch base on that video you played. It was very, I caught myself wanting to react, being a military policeman for 14 years in the Air Force. I'm not sure if you remember that.
I somewhat do, yeah.
But, yeah. So, a couple things. I mean, I know we were always taught intent. Well, with force, we were told to always use the minimum amount of force necessary to get the task done at hand. So I don't know how much that video started playing. It started playing as soon as they walked up. But he was definitely had an attitude with them and was very, I thought the attitude was aggressive and kind of angry-like. So that's never going to go well with a policeman because they're going to want to know why they're that, why you're being that way. Because they don't know if you have a gun in the vehicle. And the other thing is, do you know where this took place? Like, was it in the city? What state? What police department?
Oh, yeah, Jacksonville. Where did I put that? Jacksonville Police. It was...
In Florida?
Hold up.
Yeah. There's a Jacksonville, I think, in every state.
Yeah, there's like a Jacksonville everywhere. That's right. I agree. I've seen that too. Jacksonville where? Jacksonville Sheriff. Where is this? ABC News. I'm literally on their article. But you were saying? No, I guess you need to know where this is.
That's one of the factors.
Yeah.
Because, people are responding, yet we don't even know if this was a city, if it was in the middle of nowhere. But all that those police officers were probably going to do was,
Jacksonville, Florida. Well, go ahead.
Okay. So probable cause, it is the law, I believe, to have your headlights on not only half hour before dusk, but during inclement weather. And it's just to aid in safety. And that police officer was just trying to tell that guy that, hey, did you, he was telling him he didn't have his lights on. And so the guy immediately just got a bad attitude about, their stop was for that driver's own good. And he didn't know it and was very ignorant about the whole thing, if you ask me. And so now punching the guy, breaking the window, I'm not saying that there was a line that was crossed. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But you got three officers there that are going to probably corroborate a story against one guy. But he was videoing it.
You found the window breaking a little bit much, possibly?
Well, because there was so he was talking to another officer off, because it's standard procedure for an officer to usually walk up on the other side, especially if there's more than one officer. You usually establish a 360, no matter what. And so you saw him lean out and talk out his driver's side window, which had to have been down because he was talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he rolled up the window, and probably I would take that as disrespect to the badge and the authority, because he wanted to speak to a supervisor. So basically, he didn't want to even talk to any of those people that pulled him over. He wanted the supervisor, which,
That's right.
But
you found that possibly, you did find it possibly of too far to break the window. Possibly.
Well, I mean, maybe. I look at it again. We don't know. We don't know what kind of data.
I just find that an interesting comment.
That,
I agree. I don't know either, and I'll say that too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a cop or
like you
anything,
said,
I find
did
that
it
an
for
interesting
15
comment,
years.
if I may, is because
Sure.
you said what for what years?
I was a military policeman for 14 years.
I heard. I've seen all sorts of cops break windows like a lot. So it definitely tells me it's procedural at some point. So I find that an interesting thing because I think the body cam thing has had an interesting effect with the public in that, like we're both saying here, we don't know exactly. There's procedures. It really does vary. Right. It's not like you could break windows with every police department. I quickly searched, but put it like this: this body cam effect with the public being so seeing everything here, it has its double. I think it's a double-edged sword. The layman.
Oh, absolutely.
The layman sees something they don't understand, and it becomes a news story when it didn't need to be, at least on certain aspects.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm driving through a town that's, I think, 120 people. And everybody waves to me as I drive down. I'm not even from here, but everybody waves at you. So I don't think a cop would pull me over. And I mean, I would never have an attitude like that because I used to do it. And it's a very thankless job because most of the time you're dealing with people when they're at their worst. I mean, think about it. You're dealing with people when they're at their absolute worst.
That's when you need to be your best. Isn't that the funniest thing about that?
Right. I know.
It's like,
now,
I
did that
saw
guy
this
get
woman
angry? Did you
freaking
let
out.
it get under him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would have responded like that. I never broke a window before in my life, pulling people over. But then you're not, if it's a colonel's wife, and you break her window, I mean, I think you'd be in trouble because you broke the colonel's wife's window. Even if she got snooty and thought she didn't have to talk to me because I was a two-striper.
Well, put it like this. If you refuse to open a door and get out of a vehicle, they're asking you to get out. That's when it escalated, right? I think Hake is saying driver couldn't lower it. His suspect claimed. I remember him claiming that. He also said I heard the cop say or him say that he initially opened the door to speak to the officer because of that window. But when the video starts and we're seeing it, the door's closed and he's not compliant. They're asking him to get out. And so I think it's at that point. I've seen a lot of videos where cops break the window at that point. It's like, we're telling you you won't get out. Windows up, we're breaking it.
It escalated quickly. I mean, my goodness, that's just life, right? That's why Jesse says what he says, right? You just got to stay present and not. I mean, that guy was in his head about why he pulled over and wanted to chastise him for how dare you pull me over. Well, you obviously didn't know the law that well. And who knows how long he's been driving, and who knows if this guy's even a legal or illegal alien. He looks like he doesn't really know what you should have your headlights on in the rainy weather. I mean, it's just, you just should. And if it's Florida, I think you can have torrential downpours. And I've been in downpours where you can't even see. It's worse than fog, But anyway, that all being said, I just wanted to put in my 2 cents, Nick, and I appreciate it. And shout out to, I guess, everybody who listens.
Man, thank you, William. Appreciate your call.
Yeah. And I appreciate your guys as I got a friend listening to watching your guys' church.
Shout out,
Sunday.
man. Tell them happy
it's
White
really
History
helping
Month.
Him. Dude,
hey, I'm glad.
I'm actually seeing a difference in him. There's like a piece about him that he's never had. And so it's kind of cool.
It's the best thing about Jesse, in my opinion, the transition from watching his show to watching his church. I think a lot of people are surprised, and so yeah, I like seeing that.
Well, we want to find something locally that we can physically go to and not just do it online. Maybe we started ourselves. I don't know, but it'd be nice to find something like that where I'm from, up here in Northern California. So, but we'll see.
Tune in on YouTube. We got church online.
No, I know that, but we want to do something in real life like you guys are.
I understand. Yeah.
You got to have accountability.
You said what?
We got to have accountability. And put a mask on for a couple hours.
You said you got to have accountability? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. As in, if you're working on yourself, the best way to find out is if you actually change.
Fair enough, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Is your life changing? Well, William, man, thanks for your call. Call me again. 888-775-3773. More calls here. I want to get to you. Breaking news, Ozzy Osbourne dies at age 76. Yahoo Entertainment. See you guys saying it now. Damn. I mean, I've. Is that so? No, wait, hold on. Let me see. What the? Am I getting this right? Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne. I was just watching a bunch of stuff on him. That's so weird. No way. I mean, definitely got way when my cousin and I got way into guitar, the guitar bug hit. Yeah, we were into all the rocks, all the Black Sabbath. What's the one I always liked? Changes. That's not even Black Sabbath though, right? That was that Black Sabbath or is that just Ozzy? So emotional. So emotional. It's not even that good. Changes. It just seems like the right song right now. I'm going through. I feel unhappy. I feel so sad. I've lost the best friend that I've ever had. Ozzy Osbourne. Anyways. Sharon. Anyways. Some of you guys might know him way better. Don't let me in the pool. Okay, look. It's not that it's not grease. It's set. It's set this way. You got to understand the curl tech. It's set. I haven't had a chance to just you got to kind of like go this a little bit. After it's wet, it sets a certain way. There's no product. It's clean. There's no product. This is just natural. But wow, you don't let grease balls in the pool. No greasers in the pool. No swarthoids in the pool. I got more calls here. I want to get to all of you. 888-775-3773. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Man, cracking me up. We got William, California. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I was a little late coming in on that. Man, Rick, good points.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, for sure.
I was just looking at, try to catch up and look at the video. So what exactly happened with the young man in the traffic stop? Because me and Derek was trying to talk about it.
Yeah.
But he had to get to the calls. What happened? What you think?
Well, this video was going viral of the interaction the man McNeil filmed. And it's supposed to be just too far or whatever, how it's characterized, how he put it out. But ever since he put that out, it's come out that the officers were seen to have not violated anything. Although the one officer who punched him is under an administrative review. The sheriff came out saying that what you guys are seeing on social media is not real. You saw one clip of this guy who was agitating, and he said he was criminally non-compliant. And at that point, the officers broke the window of his car, got in there, punched him in the face a couple of times, dragged him out, punched him more when he was out. And that's it. That's pretty much the story. I was thinking, I see no problem. I see no problem, essentially. I mean, when you get to that point, you escalate to that point, it's chaos.
Yeah.
They had to break the window. That's where they got to.
That was a military police officer on the phone a few minutes ago?
Yes.
His name?
He was. He said he had. Yeah, he said he was a military police officer for many years.
What was it? Okay, you said he was in Northern California. What was his name?
William, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should be differentiating him. Maybe he is William number 7, as they say.
I would think, and with all due respect, I would think he would know. A lot of people take a military police officer and they take that as a light job. That's not a light job when you start talking about thousands of 19-year-olds getting off base on weekend to get drunk and they got to come back on the base. I'm pretty sure they see quite a bit too.
Right. Yeah. No. I'm sure they've seen all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they know.
I don't know, Nick. I think. Of course, we've had a lot of indoctrination over the last few years with our young people. Whether it be in school or even at home. somebody made a big mistake and told these young people that you know your rights.
Tell me what you mean.
They always say they know their rights, so somebody's telling them this stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody's telling them this stuff. Somebody's got to be telling them this stuff because you see the clips all over YouTube over and over and over. I'm not rolling it down. I know my rights. It all ends up bad all the time. It's like, I think they got a special tool. They can just break your window. I think they put something against it and it'll just shatter it. But yeah, man, if they say roll the window down, I think you may have to roll the window down. Was it over lights, headlights?
It sounded like it. That sheriff said something about him having I think multiple infractions or something like that, and saying that he was just non-compliant for multiple.
Well, I just froze the camera when they busted the window, and looking at him when he was just sitting there, and then the window got broken. It's telling me something that he was pretty much had it in his mind to give these cops a hard time.
I think that's what the sheriff implied or said, something like that.
Pushing for a lawsuit, and somebody's telling them that you don't have to raise the window. Somebody is telling the young people you don't have to raise this window down.
Yeah.
Why are you stopping me? I guess it is like a show of disrespect if you ask an officer.
100%.
Why'd you stop me? I've never said that. I haven't gotten stopped too much, but just wait till he talks and he'll tell you what he stopped you for. Never really seen too many people, including myself, get a ticket over turning your lights on or your high beams off or something. I think those are usually warnings, Nick.
I see. Yeah, they can be. I think they can be.
Yeah, I think
especially
most of the time,
if you're cordial with the cops.
I've made a left turn, and left turns are against the law. All over California, I've made left turns the wrong place, and then just be cool with the guy, and he'll just like, hey man, it's no big deal, man. You can just go just right down the street right there and make a U-turn, and you can get in that parking lot the same way. You know that, right? Oh, okay. And then no ticket. A lot of times, no ticket.
Yeah.
Now you
yeah,
said
I've
this
heard
guy
that
had,
too. I've heard that too.
Yeah, a lot of times no ticket. So you say this guy had 3 infractions that they were.
No,
coming
I
after
forget
him
what the
about?
sheriff said, but I think it was something about multiple infractions that brought this on. But the video starts and he's saying something about it being
We'll
over
take a look at
headlights.
it,
Maybe
but-
the cop said something about it
Yeah.
being over headlights.
Yeah.
And he was a little
attitude.
He had conflict with that statement, saying, "Well, we're allowed to have our lights off. Other people have lights off." They're saying, "No,
Yeah,
in the
well,
weather, you got to have them
yeah.
on."
Oh, well, that might have something to do with half these youngsters that's been graduating the last couple of years. You have one full year where they didn't even go to school during the pandemic. I've seen some clips where young people don't know how to tell time with a regular clock. They have to count 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm telling you, some
You're
of
saying
them.
like literal misinformation, bad info here is you're onto
I've
something
seen
here
them.
because there's a
I've
narrative.
seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. They coming out of the pandemic era. They coming from the Obama area. How about this? Why doesn't anybody have a driver's license? My thing. There's a lot of them getting stopped with no driver's license. Is that because they can't read?
I
The
don't
driver's
know.
test?
I don't know. They didn't go out and do it.
I don't know. I mean, somebody's telling them that they have rights that they don't have. That's getting a lot of them in trouble. And if you notice when they take them out of the car, even if it turns violent and rough, did you notice they will not let that cell phone go, even in handcuffs?
They're
They got to
good. Yeah,
snatch
yeah.
it out of their hand. Yeah, yeah.
You got if you didn't film it, did it even happen?
Right, right.
But I
Good
mean,
call
you're
by
onto
Rick.
something there, man. Because look,
You
it's
think
a
I'm onto
narrative.
something with that?
Okay, put it like this: if even if you can't zero in on a specific, there's the narrative is out there. The narrative of
It's
anger,
definitely out there,
the
man,
narrative
because-
of oppression, the narrative of this is your rights being infringed. The story and narrative's out there. You
Somebody
just need an
told
angry
them
person to
something
believe
wrong.
it. You're exactly right.
Somebody gave some bad information on that. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit older than you. We just didn't mess with them guys, man. They stopped us. We just did what they told us to do. Even if they seen us walking down the street from a schoolyard or whatever, and we get a little you know how we are, boys, a little crazy or whatever. They a lot of times they just had to all they had to do was roll right on the side of us. We on the sidewalk, they driving, and they just roll the window down and just look at. They give us that funny look and everything, and we just stop.
That's right. I heard never mind. But I heard something about like other parents being a little bit more open to, not necessarily, maybe even disciplining the children of other parents, maybe the fathers. I heard that they were a little bit more open to telling another kid what to do. You know, hey, don't do that.
You want to get into that? Yeah,
I heard something about
true.
that.
No,
is that
true?
true?
That is true. Yeah, absolutely. That's such and such's father. We might be doing something, walking down the block, right? And we'll see those older people, and it just stops.
Yeah, I never really saw that when I think about it.
I've had it happen to me many times. There's some behavior on the bus coming home from the school, and you know, all of a sudden, what you was doing on the bus that day is at your dinner table, because you know, a lot of the people knew just back then, everybody knew each other's kids. They knew each other's kids, so they had the green light. Yeah, you're talking about that green light? Yeah, they had it.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think I had that. We didn't see that. All the teachers were women. All the when I think about discipline and all that, it came from women. It came from the rules and all that. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know if I really saw much of what you're saying. Thanks though, Will. Appreciate it.
Best.
That might be white history actually, but go on.
The best. Remember, I probably told you and James before. Some of my best teachers growing up were men. You didn't have that many, but when you got one, he was a good one.
Right on.
And they didn't play around with us. You know, I mean, were they no, they wasn't abusive. They just tell us like it is. Hey, man, what are you doing? You know you ain't supposed to do that.
Well, thanks, William.
Happy White History Month, Nick.
Back at you. Happy White History Month, William.
Thank Rick for me for that good call about the slave trade.
Nice.
You might want to look into it. I think the United States and England are probably the first two countries to abolish slavery.
That's right.
We're really not that bad, like people say.
Well, thank you for that, William. Happy White History Month.
You too.
888-775-3773. Right back to calls here. In fact, David out of Texas, go ahead.
What's going on?
How you doing, David? Appreciate your call.
All right, young man. How are you?
All is well, man. No complaints.
Happy White History Month to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy White History Month. Right on.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Ozzy's passed. You never cease to amaze me with your musical palette.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Talking about the Ozzy song I chose. Yeah, right on.
It's awesome, though, man. I mean, Ozzy, that changes. I mean, and that's for you to delve that far into him. That's, I mean, you know, because that's not a.
I mean, I know he
not
did,
a radio song for sure.
Right. He did different music. It wasn't all like they called it doom metal at one point. No.
Maybe.
I forget what they called it, but he did.
Yeah.
They say that genre-wise, the Black Sabbath stuff was different than, just slightly different. I think they called it doom metal. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they may have. I mean, and that may have been a moniker they put on it
right
afterwards.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, that Ozzy was. I had a clear vinyl album that just had 3 songs on it. It had Paranoid, Fairies Wear Boots, and War Pigs. And those are all,
nice
to me, all really good songs. And War Pigs is probably one of my favorite of the 3.
Very cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne. You know, I didn't even really look into this article or any more details. I'll open that now as you're speaking.
Yeah. to switch over real quick while you're looking at that, I think the best thing about the video that Jesse and you played about the guy getting pulled over without his lights on in the fog, I think the best thing about that video was the way he took that first punch.
That's true. No, he did.
Dude, I have dealt with the police, you know, a lot, and I'm always at fault. You know, I mean, it's never been any other way. And whenever, you know, and a lot of times I've gone to jail, and it's like by the time the police catch up with me, I'm usually pretty tired of my own antics. So I'm not really wanting to go to jail, but it's like, I mean, it's over, you know. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit there and fight with these guys, and you know, maybe get really hurt or shot. It's just stupid. I don't understand why people do that. I really don't.
I've seen white runners, and I watch film, folks. I've watched footage. I've seen white runners, and I notice, I gotta say this, I see them run. They'll run from the cops sometimes, and they'll be like squirrely running, but a cop will come out of like a street in front of him. He looks around, and he's surrounded. I've seen this a few times. And they'll be like, okay, hands up, and they go down. Like, okay, I tried. It's really over this time. Kind of strategic, if you put it that way.
Maybe it's because I didn't grow up running from them. I grew up on the right side of the law, and then I started slowly breaking the law and drinking and driving and whatever, you know, as a kid, and smoking weed, and then, you know, just things kept progressing, and until I was just pretty much a rolling felony wherever I went, you know, usually just because of possession. But you know, there's no telling what I was going to do, and definitely no telling what I was capable of doing, because I was not in my right mind. I was definitely being led around by the nose by evil, for sure.
Why do you think that was?
Well, I used to use, because I had a lot of hate, blame, and victimhood. So
I'll do it.
I had a conversation with God when I was young. My mother got sick when I was about 12 years old. She got multiple sclerosis, and was, you know, went from being somebody that was up and walking around to being bedfast, and she was in a bed for 25 years. But when it first set in, you know, 2 or 3 years into it, I just got really angry at God and didn't understand why my mother had to be different. And it was just, I was a victim. And it took a long time for me to figure out that I wasn't even the victim of her being sick. She was, you know, but and she didn't take it that way. My mom was pretty good. I never heard her complain about anything, ever. The only thing I ever heard her complain about was not wanting to eat something, you know. Mm-hmm. And she was really good. Her and my dad both were the best examples that I ever had of God in my life, for sure.
Right on, man.
Yeah. So what did the article say?
No, Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, I wanted to know exactly how it happened, but I'm not really seeing details. That's probably not even none of my business, right? But yeah, known for his. I found this LA Times article kind of interesting how it started it off. The storied Black Sabbath lead singer, known as much for his excesses and bizarre onstage antics as his pioneering heavy metal music. I remember seeing that as a kid, and I saw this on YouTube, right? So it must have happened well before or whatever, but I saw this on the internet afterwards, growing up, and I saw that the bats eating the bat and all that or whatever.
Yeah. Compete on the Alamo.
That's right. But it's not clear what happened, but they're saying he was diagnosed nearly a year earlier with Parkinson's. I didn't know Parkinson's could I guess, be a killer in a sense. Yeah, I'm seeing some headlines
Yeah.
saying dies, well, not of Parkinson's, with Parkinson's.
Isn't that what Michael J. Fox has as well? Doesn't he have Parkinson's?
That's right.
Yeah.
So does Parkinson's like kill?
So
eventually?
I mean, Ozzy.
Yes, Parkinson's
he
disease
ravaged-
can
he
contribute to
ravaged
death,
his body.
but is usually not considered
What's
a
that?
direct cause.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I mean he.
Right on, man.
He
Well, thanks.
ravaged his.
Appreciate
he ravaged his body. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
I appreciate you, Nick.
Call me again, David.
All right, buddy. You have a good day. Thank you.
888-775-3773. I'm going to get right back to calls here. Appreciate everybody calling. They're saying the culture is shifting. Talk about White History Month for a moment here. Pronatalism. We need the babies. Elon Musk is saying the world is falling apart. When you look at the world, it's, well, not falling apart. They're dying. They're not making enough babies. You look at a map and you're like, it's particular here. It's in fact, I bet you a quick search would find an image. It's like all the like nice countries, Western countries, white countries. So it's not the entire world. Global fertility is dropping in the places we love. And they may have their problems. But do we want something else? This is what we got. And so whatever, look, they're saying, look, that's probably not even a good map. They're saying the culture is shifting, right? White babies, we need white babies. Nike just released a pro-family ad highlighting Scotty Scheffler's baby son as a win. Children aren't burdens, they're blessings, says Anna Lulis. Of course a woman would say that. Children are a blessing. They're not burdens, they're a blessing. I mean, I guess an enlightened man would say, well, children are just children, right? They're just children. They're a soul. They're not a burden or a blessing. But a realist, black pilled. I don't know what you say. It's like, come on, they're a cost. They're like, look, it's just like language. It's just a funny thing. A woman would say this, right? There aren't burdens. They're blessings. I'm also, I guess, harp on this a little further. I'll get back to calls. I see this from the women, right? Implying almost like this is kind of like the main thing or one of the main factors in the low birth rates. It's just public perception, this perception the world is putting on having children and child rearing. It's such a dirty society and media. Media making it seem like mothers isn't an awesome thing to be. That's y'all. That's you guys said that. The women said that. Not the world society. But not us women. We're not saying that. Children aren't burdens, they're blessings. And it's time to bring the birth rates back. You might remember Scotty here. You saw him maybe on the JLP show. They played this clip of him talking about life and golf and being the best. He's like, I hear the best, if not like at the peak of what he does here in golf. I heard he's got some amazing wins recently. Incredible wins. He said, what's it all worth? What's the point? If being the absolute, I'm not going to sit here. He said something like, I'm not going to stand here and try and inspire people into being the best golfer. What is the point of that? And it's fascinating, right? To get what you want and to get to some pinnacle somewhere and think it means this or that, to think life has this or that meaning, but it's never what you thought it was. And, he had his comments about his family. If golfing ever stopped me from being like a good father or something, that's the last day I golf. So that was an interesting thing, right? Reminding you on who Scotty is. Interesting they used him. But Nike here, it's like a pro-family ad. Okay, this is supposed to be a culture shift, right? Another woke company seeing the MAGA light. I'm sorry I had to say that with such a sarcastic tone. Men maybe don't talk like that. But I don't know. I guess they're saying you've already won, right? You've already won. Okay? You got the Nike and you're using the Nike gear to win your championships, and that's awesome. But you know what? You've already won. Right? Family. buy some Nike. It's a funny thing, right? When advertisers do that, companies, it's like we're selling Nike gear, Nike stuff, right? But wait, hold on. Let's just take a moment here, because that's not what's important. What's important is family. Buy some Nike gear. It's just a funny thing. But they're here saying it's a thing, right? There's culture shift. What did I want to say here quickly? It might be, but I'll put it like this. Really what I wanted to say was that it says gaslighting. I'm allowed to say that, right? We're in the woman's world. They created these words. They are very important. You shouldn't be gaslighting people. I heard it was even like the word of the year or something like that. And that's a woman word. It's like, stop gaslighting me. You mean just lying? Yeah, just don't lie. But you got to use this special word, gaslighting, because now it can't be that definite, where it's like a lie is clear. If you say, don't lie to me, that's very clear. Don't lie. But if you say, don't gaslight, now it's like all these things fall under this umbrella term of gaslight. It's also, don't talk to me in that way. It's a number of things, right? But it's essentially, you've made me feel a certain way, and it makes me think that you're thinking of me in this way, and all that thinking is making me behave in this way, and that's just gaslighting me. You've created a narrative, so you got to create this word. So that's why it's a woman word, gaslighting. It's like lying is clear. It's like, don't lie to me. But we're in the right. You guys said this is wrong, and you're gaslighting us, right? Yesterday you're like, white people, it's like the worst thing ever. Decades of all these people, right, being taught in the schools, the terrible stuff about white people. You can't even say such a thing. I mean, you can't even say White History Month, right? People think you're joking. Even now, even 8 years in, some people still think you're joking. You say Happy White History Month, they laugh, they're uncomfortable, they think you're evil, they think you're doing this or that. Meanwhile, every other History Month is built on like a grievance. So it's built on anger. So it's like, at its core, it's evil. Meanwhile, White History Month is built on love. It's, hey, let's just say the truth. The truth is just an amazing, the history of whites is not all full of all just this evil you're saying. It's much like humans. And in fact, they've done quite amazing things. And quite great things that we should remember. And it's for all people. So, so you notice all those history months is built on that. They spend decades like that, right? And then they come out and they're like, no, actually, we're about family. It's always been like this. You've already won. It's a white baby, no less, right? Decades. It's like you got to have the mixed couples, white babies. I remember seeing the articles about white children, anybody saying to have white children or even just two white people coming together to have children. That is white supremacy. I remember seeing stuff like that. So you're gaslighting us, and I guess that's fine. We'll watch. I'm not even asking for anybody to do that. Let's watch Nike. Let's see if they're really pro-white. I don't care about that. They'll advertise to what's popular, what's good, whatever. It's really a matter of what the people are thinking. But, gaslighting on that, if I may. It's like the women, too, are gaslighting. Have you noticed this? Why won't the men approach us? Children aren't burdens and they're blessings. Why aren't you just stop saying it's such a burden, media and whatever, everybody else? Why aren't men approaching us? It's like Gen Z is so afraid and weak. And then we'll get to calls here. They're so afraid and weak. Gen Z, they won't even approach. What's going on? Oh, the birth rates are low because, you guys hate marriage and you guys don't even like. It's funny, they spent it really ended up being how some of these terrible, right, misogynists online said. They spent their younger years talking about, it's a patriarchy, it's this or that, we don't need this or that. Now they're old and they're like, why don't you guys like marriage? You guys are supposed to be settling down. It's like you guys are such cowards. Decades of you can get canceled. You look at a woman the wrong way. You are toxically masculine, right? All those things. Can we just summarize there? You get it. So I'm just calling out the gaslighting, right, ladies? Isn't that bad? Maybe I'm being a bit of a lady, doing the, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. I don't really care about it, but just say if you made it to the egg, you already won the race. Shout out, Wow Hassan. How you doing, sir? And he adds in addition to his commentary, he says, "I'm a racist." Shout out, how you doing, sir? Now you're gaslighting us about gaslighting it. All right, now let's move on. Now you're gaslighting me. Ross, New Jersey. How you doing? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick. How you doing? Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month, Ross. Thank you. Go ahead.
I was calling, I was sitting today and I was wondering, all these states, we have 50 states and we're always listening to a district. Why does a state listen to a district? You understand what I'm saying?
Help me understand.
The Washington, D.C. is a district of Columbia.
What's that mean?
I don't know. That's why I looked it up. So when I found out,
it's not a state.
Right. So that's why I looked it up, and I found out that the District of Columbia used to be the territory of Columbia, which was a feminine name for Christopher Columbus when they landed here. That was adopted. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was adopted in a feminine way so that the 13 colonies could come together. And they used to have like 5 or 6 capitals in 13 colonies. Mm-hmm. But what they did, they decided to come to the Washington, D.C., which was the center point.
Uh-huh.
And then they created what they called the territory of Columbia after Christopher Columbus, who discovered America.
That's like the name, right? Like where the name comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So they did back then.
Are you familiar with go ahead.
They hired a French designer to come in and actually start to design the capital area, and they split part of it off from the 2 colonies that were closest. I believe it was Maryland and Virginia, but I can't swear to that. But anyway, so they carved off a piece of ground, and they were going to make Washington D.C. So they did that, and then their first president, George Washington, he started in 1790. I believe it was 17. His first term ended, or he started in 1791. So they kept it as the territory of Columbia until 1871, which they changed it to the District of Columbia. And then what happened was the government became incorporated so that it would protect its voters. And that's why
What's that
it
mean?
was
The
separated.
government became incorporated?
On 4/20/1871, they did an act called the Third Enforcement Act, which protected the voters. And it divided, because we had just gotten through the Civil War in the late 1860s, which, the North was fighting the South. So they had this...
But this act protected voters in what way? From what?
From discrimination, slavery, invasion, anything that we're fighting about today, we're fighting for again, but we already had it done in 1871. It's just going to be the same fight. They're trying to work out still that was already enacted in 1871. If you look it up and you read about it.
The Enforcement Act?
The Enforcement Act of 1871. It was put into Congress by President Grant of the Union.
To protect the civil rights of Black Americans? The
protect all voters.
The Ku Klux Klan Act is being called, as it's being called by ChatGPT here. on a quick cursory search, could be wrong. It is AI, but they call it the Ku Klux Klan Act.
That's the second name. That was the second name they had. They named it two names. And they did it to protect the South from the North. They had that division, but they weren't working together yet. So they had this enactment and made the corporation, the government, to keep us separated, but keep us happy.
I see. I wasn't familiar with any of this.
No, that's
it was an act to it made it a federal crime to use violence or intimidation to stop someone from voting or holding office, interfere with civil rights under the Constitution.
And it's almost all the same things that are coming to light today.
I'm not understanding this parallel you're drawing.
Like how everything that's almost you're talking about right there is being used against the people again today as distraction.
But I'm not following the line you're drawing from this Enforcement Act to stuff happening today. I'm not following.
What I'm saying is the government already enforced it in 1871, and now today everybody's still fighting about the separation. They're not agreeing on the separation that was already enacted in 1871.
So you're saying that any like clamoring for civil rights now, I mean they already did it back in 1871, so stop your belly aching. If I may crudely summarize, is that fair?
Right, exactly.
Okay, I hear you.
So everything that they keep doing
as far back as 1871, that's not even civil rights 1950s or whatever, 1960. We're going farther back there. You're saying stop your belly ache, and it was all the way back then. They had laws even to say you are being protected, civil rights and all that.
Yeah.
I may even have my own. That's interesting, man. I didn't know about this, but
I don't think that one was actually for the women. I think the women came in later. I think that was more for a property owner, but I'm not sure of the law because I didn't read the law. I think it was you had to be a property owner and then you were a protected voter, but I'm not sure what it reads. But I just thought it was really interesting how the government went from being a territory to being a district, and then they became a corporation.
Are you saying that area was a state at one point?
Well, they took what they wanted from Virginia and what other state was next to it, and they divided out a piece they called Washington after the first president. And then they called it D.C., which they changed that name from a territory to a district for some reason.
I heard the Founding Fathers wanted it that way so that the federal government wouldn't be under control of any state.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have like a state. You wouldn't have the federal government inside of a state, which would have its own state government, how the Founding Fathers thought up of how America would be. They didn't want the federal government. I heard that's why, that they didn't want the federal government under any kind of control of a state. So it should be just kind of, amorphous in that way as a federal district, which would really be under control of Congress. And people ended up, I think people were living in that area from the very beginning. And when you got people living in an area, you still have to have local laws and a local government. So they do have a mayor. And I don't know if this is a point of contention, but I'm pretty sure that the people in Washington vote for a president. I don't know how it works with Congress, if they get any representation, right? Because they're not a state. I don't know about it. I'm just thinking out loud at this point, but that's what I heard. I heard the Founding Fathers simply didn't want the federal government to be, it needed to be separate. It's a federal government, and it shouldn't be under any state in that sense. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
In 1776, when they were actually brought together and they wrote up the Constitution, there were only 13 colonies then. So what they did was when they enacted the laws back in 1791, when the first president was in, they made it for the 13 colonies. They didn't move forward and bring in other people until later in time, and then they had to rewrite the laws and rewrite the things. I believe that's why they went from a territory to a district.
I see. Well, right on. Interesting. A little white history there. on a beautiful White History Month Tuesday.
It's just really, you know, like when I read about that, it was like, wow, they were just changing history all the time whenever they felt like it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
true. That's
Just
why
amazing.
History Month is important.
Right. So, all right. Thank you.
Well, right on. Ross, call me again.
All right. Take care.
All right. 888-775-3773. All right. Let's see here. What's up, Dustin Cross? I don't know if I've ever seen that name over there on Rumble. Says, I guess Nick gets all the good callers. I'm glad to hear that. We hope to keep that up. Sing, Speedy. They're asking Speedy to sing. Is that from you, Sion? Or has my nickname caught on? Nice. I see other people call me Speedy. Speedy Gonzalez. That's a little shout out from Sion. And incidentally, we got a couple coffees from Sion, actually. She's watching. She's supportive. And she is... I'll just show you. Now, it says only visible to me. Did you mean to send this anonymously, Sion? Is this wrong, what I'm doing? She just has some claps. It says just Columbia. It just says, it's just clapping. It's just clapping, and it says Columbia. And then a little taco. Thank you, Sion. Appreciate the support. I know that means you love me. Shout out, Sion. Appreciate all the coffees. Thank you, someone. Very generous. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Nice. Thank you, everybody, for the support. Amazing. Members over here on Rumble. Thanks for being a paying member. That's crazy. Who's Gerda? Should I not even say that? Was that a mistake? Should I not be naming this name? Sorry. Inside Rumble Baseball. I'm trying to understand what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't. Amazing. Wait, what? Seeing some of your interesting chats here in the chat. If you're not in it, you don't have to be. But click the like button. Don't be rude. Tell me what you think. All right. Let's see what y'all are saying. Nice. Thank you. All right. Let's keep it moving here. Thank you, Albert. Appreciate that. Enforcement laws. Were we trying to get educated on that? Where was I here? Anyways, let me hit you with something kind of different. Kind of random. Maybe a little different. Just kind of like, maybe you didn't think about this. How are the Zoomers thinking? Are the generations different? How different are they? We just don't understand these kids, right? Darn kids, they're just on their phones, right? Something like that. They're just on their phones and antisocial. They're never going to get a girlfriend out there being incels. I gather that's actually very few. Like true incels. But whatever, they're on the internet or something. They're not out there. They're not getting out there. They're afraid maybe. I gather some of these things being said about the youngins. Are they this free-spirited? Would you ever see Zoomers like this, huh? Back to the 90s. Oh, yeah. Called to the MTV. The Grind. I never watched this. I don't know what this is. Just people dancing to music. MTV 90s. Called a show in the early 90s called The Grind. Oh, that sound, though. That 90s, that like future we were supposed to have, but we never got type aesthetic. This music invokes such feelings in me. You know what I mean? Like, an aesthetic of a future we were promised, but we never got. Like kind of like this maybe. right? Oh, yeah, like this. This right here. This right here. This exemplifies what I'm talking about. That's what this music makes me feel like. It makes me feel like this. Those that know, know. This is looking like a White History Month video. Look at this. Peep the people. Out on the beach. This is not, okay, I hear you now. Oh, what America used to be like. This is just TV, right? They're just picking the best of the best. I don't know. I'm thinking that might be truer than not. Wow. Zoomers would never, right? The moves. Wow. I think Zoomers might say this is cringe. What do you think? Would the Zoomers say some of these moves are cringe?
That's right.
Oh, the tune's hot. These moves. Is it cringe? They're having fun, folks. They're living it up. Zoomers would never. You know, I'm bringing this up because there was an interesting conversation I saw on X concerning Zoomers, the generations, being outgoing, having fun. They say the Zoomers don't know how to have fun, and I think that's their biggest problem. They're too afraid of being perceived. This one was hitting. 13 million views. This comment was hitting. People were like, "What?" I mean, a lot of people were arguing maybe, but it definitely hit people because they're like, "Yeah, the Zoomers, they don't know how to have fun." It was a comment even on this video. That's their biggest flaw. They're too afraid of being perceived. I'm seeing some of you concur. Some of you are saying cringe overload. Zoomers watch people dance on live streams. Yeah, they can't do it, huh? I don't necessarily find it cringe. Maybe some of the dance moves. It's a generational thing, maybe. But this whole thing about not wanting to be perceived, some of you even somewhat agree to this. You're zeroing in on what's wrong with the Zoomer. But you know what? Further, this conversation was kind of pressed further here on X. Have you ever thought about it like this? Nobody minds their effing business anymore, and everyone feels entitled to record others, especially those, quote unquote, having fun, specifically to embarrass them online, where that ish lives forever. F you. I have to assume Jay here is maybe a Zoomer, maybe feeling a little bit, they may be talking about, they feel a little bit like the arrow might be a bit of a bullseye here. So you're feeling like you got to say something, but maybe also a poignant response. The kids, the Zoomers, the youngins, they may have issues, but they're also right sometimes about society, the people criticizing them. Maybe the people criticizing aren't familiar with the world that was wrought upon them. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit too dramatic. I do remember this one, though. Anybody remember this one? This is for the internet people. This should go in like an internet museum. This image. This would fit. If you wanted to make a museum of internet history, I guess this would go in there. I remember this going viral. This guy spotted this specimen trying to dance the other week. He stopped when he saw us laughing. First image, him dancing. Second image, looking down. Defeated, destroyed. I remember because the internet came out to defend this guy. And they were like, no, let's make a party for him. And I forget his name. If I really searched it, I could probably find it. But they went out and they met with him. And they're like, this is us. We are the good side of the internet. We decided to make a party for you. And they danced with him. And they're like, F those guys, right? And that was like an internet moment. I found it somewhat interesting, though, this idea of the world they grew up in. You know, cameras everywhere. You can go viral at any point for being cringe, and your life is over. My life is over. Mom, I cringe on the internet. It has its weight. I'm sure in the minds of people, it's really all it is, but it does have its weight, social weight. I mean, you ask Derek. He'll tell you, he'll say, that's what matters now. It's your online profile, your social profile. Fear of public cringe. That's an interesting phenomenon, no? Even if we can just leave it at that, maybe. More of this. How about this? We got to go. We got a minute here. How about some more White History Month? Is this White History Month? I'm going to say it is. I guess MTV, it is history, right? But isn't this like the degeneracy? Could you draw some lines? Could you draw some parallels to connect some lines here to the birth rates, to this? I don't know, folks. Just think it out loud. Don't think, just jam. Don't think, just house. All right, that's cool. Happy White History Month, folks. It might be a little degenerate. That's okay. Look, I hope you enjoyed the show. What can I say? Let's see. Let's make sure. Let's slow down a moment here. Make sure we got everybody. But we are pretty much at the end. DJT 2020 asks, Nit, are you okay? Ban him. Ban that guy. What have I walked into? Memories. Amazing. Appreciate everybody's support here. All the super chats and everybody, all my callers. Hope you enjoyed today's show. What can I say? That's pretty much it for me. I got more American Anchor Baby for you tomorrow on a fine Wednesday. Manhood Hour with JLP. The rest of the network, you know how it goes. Maybe even a little punchy tomorrow. You know how it goes. Punchy TV. Live on Wednesdays usually. But that's it from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. For real now, I gotta go. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, Lil Nick too. He's got to say bye. Bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.